Yeah, I think I'm live now. All right. Happy. What is it today? Wednesday, May 14th. Dr. Ricky T here, Hay House, author of Play Your Bigger Game. It's going to be brief today, not too long, but I do this thing every Wednesday. Let me look at the camera rather than look at my notes. First of all, I just want to say for those of you that email list, a number of you reached out this last week to the email that I wrote, seemed to have resonated with many of you. So thanks for that. And if anybody's interested in getting on my email list, ricktam.com. So there you go. Just wanted to say thanks to that. And it's always fun to hear a response. So thank you for your responses. And my hat is a little crooked. Oh, well. Um, so thanks for that. And you never know. You put something into the world, and I help people put their things into the world, play a bigger game, if you will. And you never know. But I do know is if you don't put something into the world, right, there's no possibility of something happening. So I wanted to a topic that's a little bit around me and a part of me this week, and was offered by my niece, Dr. Verprack, and has a thriving practice in Lower State New York. Anyway, he forwarded me that I was chatting with her this week about life and working and having your own business and all the stuff, right? And I was talking about rest and feeling a little overwhelmed and a little overworked and all the stuff we can kind of bump into as entrepreneurs, right? When you have your own business. And she said, "Let me send you this thing, Uncle Rick, about sleep. Because I'm sleeping pretty well, so no, I don't have this like sleep issue." But she said, "Let's send you this thing by her, I think, Marcia Schaefer, and I'll put her name in here in a few minutes." um, Excuse me. I'm gonna now follow her on Instagram. She's on Instagram, so I'll just say her name out loud, so you can go look her up. Dr. Marcia, Marcia, right? That's her name on, I think it's on forums, but I think Instagram. So she makes this distinction between 7 types of sleep. And it was I thought about it when I read it, and you'll hear it in a minute. So I thought, well, 7 types of rest, but I love how she kind of gave it the sleep spin. However, she does say the word rest a lot. But it's the more for me on sleep, you're pulled away, right? You're sleeping, so there's actually REM sleep and all that. I'm not a sleep expert, but she offers these 7 distinctions, and I invite you to consider them and think about ones that need attention and for them, and then I will probably have an opinion about which ones I need to work on, and feel free to comment in here as well. What are the ones you need to work on, right? Or the ones you need to focus on, right? So I'm just going to read her post. Have you ever woken up after 8 hours of sleep and still feel bone deep tired? That's because is only one kind of rest. She says that's because sleep, this is the distinction, is one kind of rest. There are 7 types. Your body, mind, and soul must be craved. By the way, when I'm over here, I'm reading it on my screen, so that's why I'm looking over here. So there are 7 types that your body, mind, and your soul might be craving. I forgot to say might be craving. So as you hear this, yes, what I'm craving, and trust your gut on this, right? First one, physical rest, right? Very passive sleep, or active, or massage. So there's the rest. The body is asleep. You're in bed. You're on a couch. Or that's the passive version of distinction. Active is stretching or massaging, massage, or some other way where you're resting. Okay. That's the first. Second one, mental rest. Obviously, quieting the mind, breaks from sins, and I love this, breaks from decisions. Can you pull away? Because we make, I don't know the stat, but it's a huge number of decisions in a day, right? Oh my gosh, right? That decide to go to the grocery store when, at 2 o'clock, at 3, and then there's business decisions, and there's money decisions, and there's copy to write to put into the world, decisions to show up on social media, whatever. Decide, can you pull away from screens and decisions? Screens and decisions, right? And we know we are now learning, and here I am doing a social media post, so here I'm doing it, putting the world on, on a Wednesday morning. So I'm feeding, if you screen thing. No, doesn't mean I'm not going to go away. It's your choice with it, right? How do I manage myself with the screen time? Because the screen time is now a dopamine hit, right? We now know this, right? It's fun to scroll and check in, and then there's times where it's like, I need to shut this down. So quieting the mind, mental rest, back to number 2. Quieting the mind, and my light just went out, and breaks from screens and decisions. Number 3, emotional rest. So first is physical rest, second is mental rest, third is emotional rest. This one is really juicy. Safe space where you don't have to perform. This is just, you can just be yourself. There's nothing to do. There's not, right? You're just, even it's like, notice, even a dinner party where you love all the people, but you sort of have to be on, right? So hello, David Darst. Happy Wednesday. Hope New Orleans is going well. Hope you're having fun. So I love that phrase, back to the emotional rest. Safe space you don't have to perform. I can, right, between here I am on still on a camera, right? So then I'm doing a group call in about an hour, and then I have 5 coaching clients today. So there's a lot of on. So you have to balance it. To me, when I have to be on too many days, hours, right, in a row. Now, I got a long bandwidth there. I like on your own, like I'm on much, right? It's the how to perform context. And I help people with their performance. Ironically, that's the paradox, because we are performing. We are, every call you lead, every time you're on a coaching call, as a coach, every time you're speaking in front of a room, because I help you speaking a lot. I help people with their business a lot, meaning their speaking business, and you're on, and for the right person and the right value system, that performance context is a value. It's so life-giving, but then all of a sudden, where does it like that feels so good. I love it. And then you kind of hit the right. So like, okay, got to let it go. And you know where that is. So it's the emotional rest. Safe spaces where you don't have to perform. Number 4, sensory rest. Less noise, less light, less stimulation from anything around you, right? That's just, maybe that's a mask or whatever. That's the need to not be so animated and, on, right? I'm, aware of light, I'm aware of the sound, I'm aware, like, I notice this morning I went for a walk, I try to, unless there's the garbage truck, and then I'm like, oh, right, can I just find a place where there's less noise, right? Less noise, less light, less stimulation in general. Sensory rest. That's number 4. Number 5, creative rest. I never thought of this one. I love this one. This is like not having to create anything. You're just being in nature, being with art. Like you're in a space where it feels creative, like a museum, but you're not having to create. You're just experiencing creativity, nature, art, being the wonder of how beautiful something is. Or illness, by the way. You don't have to do anything. You're just being of all the magic and beauty and creativity around you. There's that. That's called creative rest. Kind of subtle. Hadn't heard of that one before, but I was like, oh, that's sometimes why I like to go to a museum, or I like to go see, or I like to go, ironically, into a nice designer clothing store. I sort of feel the creativity of something, and it's just like, receive it. Okay, that's creative rest. Okay. Number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Number 6, social rest. This is time away, as I'm reading her language here, time away from draining or with life-giving people, right? So there's the people who, right, you hang out with people who feed you and you feel seen and appreciated, and there's the ones that, right? I'm going to surmise this one a bit even into, there's a distinction, but I'm also going to go to, you just need, I just need time away from people, period. Like I don't need another dinner party. I don't need another, right? And just social rest. Now, I'm an extrovert. I love chatting. I love talking. I could, be at a dinner party for hours and hours. And I also have to like pull back, right? So, social rest. This one, this last one, number 7, is spiritual rest. I love this one too. Just actually thinking about maybe journaling, maybe nothing about it, but this is her copy here. Connection to purpose, faith, or something bigger than you. Now, that couldn't be more in line with I wrote a book called Play a Bigger Game, which is the point. To be honest, I'm not selling a book right now, but that's the philosophical underpinning of my whole life. To be up to something bigger that's just not survival. Right? So that's just about connecting to that person, connecting to your faith, connecting to yourself, of power. Maybe the other word inside of this one is grounded. You just feel grounded. Because the other thing I want to offer here is whether anybody receives it or not, or anybody buys it or not, or anybody experiences your thing that you're up to, but it shouldn't matter as much as this. It's just this is what I'm up to. Whether it's volunteering in your neighborhood or having a dinner party for your friends or whatever, but you're up to something bigger, right? Than just survival. We all know that flavor and that texture of life when you do something that's like, oh, that was really rich. Like whether I lead something or I do a bigger game workshop or whether it has this context to it that grows me, has me feel expanded, right? So spiritual rest is not about doing that necessarily, but it is taking time to connect to that, to connect to your faith, connect your beliefs. Just go back to, back to the basics, go back to your foundation, go back to your values. What are those, right? And that's a spiritual rest, right? Or then the spin of showing up in the world a lot. So I'm just going to name them all again, and then I'm going to ask you the question that she asked in her post. The 7 are, again, physical rest, and there's either passive, which is sleeping, or active, which is stretching or massaging of body work. Mental rest, which is quieting the mind, breaks from screens and decision making. Number 3, emotional rest, safe spaces where you don't have to. Sensory rest, less noise, less light, less stimulation in general for the senses. Social rest, time away from relationships or with life-giving people, right? So it's either, and you know the difference, right? And can't always, that's a tough one. It's like you go to a dinner party, you meet somebody, like, okay, that's fine. But then you realize, okay, I need to, right? We know the ones that feed and we know that ache, right? And yes, and down that relationship tunnel for just a second. And if you want it to be different, then you can design it to be different. Just in terms of relationships, if it feels so draining, you could go off and have a conversation and say, hey, listen, I want this relationship to be better. And you could design that. That's a workshop. But so anyway, that's number 6, social rest. Number 7, spiritual rest, connection to your purpose, your faith, something bigger than you, So the question she asked is, which kind of rest are you missing right now? Great question. Out of those 7, I know the answer. Feel free to drop it in the chat here. I'll go off and look later in the day and, possibly comment if you want to comment or make a suggestion or have a different opinion or offer an insight from this brief time online this morning. But what I want, all of this sense of peace and ease and flow with your work in the world, right? And I know rest and rejuvenation is always a part of that, right? Who was it? Arianna Huffington wrote an entire book. It's like this thick. I grabbed it. I have it. Sleep, because she burned herself out. And if you know the story, Arianna Huffington, super successful, yada, and burnt out and actually passed out in her office, hit her head on the desk, hit the floor, and that was the wake-up call where she said, okay, I can't do it like this anymore. So she went off and did a deep dive and 1,000 people sleep, because she'd realized she needed that part, because the husband, all of that can be addictive. So it's sort of like, I've heard this phrase, I know many of us have heard this, it's like you play hard and you rest. I kind of just made that up, play hard but rest consciously, right? Build it in your day, build life, build it into your weekends, whatever. And boundaries of time, right? Boundaries of time, because here's the deal. As an entrepreneur, we swim in this consciousness of we're never doing. It's not always the next call. There's always the next gig. There's always the next speaking opportunity. And I love them all, but there is this point. There's this mentality that oh, if I'm not doing something to grow my business, problem. Just bear that in mind. Yes, and you do need to focus on growing your. You do need to focus on reaching out and touching more people's. And rest. The 7 types: mental, emotional, sensory, creative, social, and spiritual. So, happy Wednesday, everybody. I hope this has been useful. Comment below if you want. Again, I'll say her name. I'll spell her name out loud. You can look her up. I want to make sure you follow her. She's brilliant. I need her. Dr. Period, the dot, right? Marcia, Marcia, for Shaefe. No space, by the way. Just Dr. Period, Marcia Schaefer, right? Go check her out on social media. Thank you, Marcia. If you happen to see this today, I'm going to connect with you. And anyway, you know how it works in social media. So happy Wednesday, everybody. More to come. If you want to be on my email list, I do send out some people this week said they really good email of insight this last week. So if you want some insight in your mailbox on Sunday mornings early, and we send it out about, I don't know, it goes out about 4 a.m. on Sunday morning West Coast time, ricktamlin.com. Go check it out. All right, everybody, have a great rest of your day. Sending good vibes to you, yours, your family, your organization, your state, and of course, our globe. All please, I don't know you. If you follow me, I know you already know that. So, all right, everybody, bye.